Hello, Bizarre Story Junkies. You're tuned in to the Bizarre AF, where we talk about the strange, the absurd, the unknown, and things that are bizarre as fuck. I'm Kevin. I will be your host today. So please keep an open mind, keep a skeptical ear, but keep listening as we take you on our newest journey, the power of the mind. Hello, my junkoids. Joining me today, and I wouldn't have it any other way, is my co-hostess with the mostess, Alicia. Hey, girlfriend.
Hey. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
Having some coffee.
Yeah, let's go have some coffee. We'll come right back. I'll give you a topic of discussion. Rhode Island is neither a road or an island.
Discuss.
Awesome.
We have, I think, a fun episode today.
I'm so stoked. Yeah.
Today we're talking about the power of the mind, and that can be a lot of different things. We're going to talk about a few things that could be. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to take your lead, and I'm going to start out with a quote.
Ooh, okay.
And this is from a gentleman, Dr. Wayne Walter Dreyer, who was a very well-educated American self-help author and motivational speaker. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
So let me give you an example of that quote. Have you ever thought about something and then without explanation, you noticed it repeatedly? So here's an example. You think about it and you want to go buy a car and you're like, I really want this Ford Mustang.
Yes.
And you're just thinking about, and then all of a sudden you see all these Ford Mustangs on the road.
Yeah.
Another example, you're in traffic and you're like, oh my God, there's like 3 Texas license plates in a row. And then for the next day or two, all you see are Texas license. Like, are we being invaded by Texas?
Right. What the fuck? Has this always been going on and I've never seen it before?
So that's the point of Dr. Wayne Walter Dreyer, is that when you are thinking about something, or if you change the way you think about something, then things change, because your brain is working in a way that you've kind of are telling it to work without consciously making it work that way.
Okay. Yeah.
Brain very powerful. Brain powerful.
Brain equal power.
So, placebos are another good example of the brain being very powerful.
Yeah.
So for years, the placebo effect was considered a failure in medical science, because when you gave someone something that wasn't anything and it worked, that was a failure. They're like, they considered that a failure. But it's recently they've actually started looking at it in a different way and considering that kind of a success.
Right.
There's a study where they talk about the placebo cure rate, and the ranges are drastic.
Really?
There's sometimes they can be as low as 15%, but sometimes these placebos can be as effective as 75%.
That is so interesting. Yeah.
Again, to show you how powerful the brain is. That is all your brain doing that.
Right. So I guess from my perspective, or a question that I have, you were saying, right? This is it's a failure in science. Mm-hmm. Why is it not considered a phenomenon? Why not have it?
It is now. They've changed their perspective.
Okay, so
kind of like the quote is, instead of going, okay, I gave you this drug and I gave you this drug and now you both worked. And so that what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Now they're looking at it in a whole different way. Like, okay, now we're getting into what a mind can do, how powerful a mind is.
You know what this kind of like brings me back to? The gateway process.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that project, the CIA paper.
All
that we were
about
talking
the brain, the mind.
Yeah, and how powerful it is and how you can do some great things with it. You're talking about the great things that it can do.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Oh, so cool.
So cool. So what happens with the placebo effect is that the brain anticipates the outcome, and then the mind will communicate with the body that anticipated outcome, and it prepares the body for healing by these miraculous events, like by creating natural chemical reactions. So, for example, give somebody a placebo pill, and says, this is going to cure your depression. And the body releases the serotonin, which cures the depression without all these harmful side effects. But your brain was anticipating that this pill was going to do the thing. And so it produced the things to do the thing.
So in other words, so like depression is a lack or a the serotonin, your serotonin or dopamine levels are like stunted off. Yeah. So, and that's a natural chemical that everyone has.
Yep.
So you're saying these people are already low. They're already like, operating on a lower level.
Yep.
All that they have to hear about is, hey, we're going to give you a pill. We're going to go through. Is it just the pill, or is it in conjunction with something like therapy or like group sessions?
A pill.
It's just the pill.
A pill. And they said this pill is going to help your depression.
Wow.
And they take this pill, and it does, because again, it's all about intention and your mind being so powerful and convinced that it's going to do what it needs to do, that it generates these chemicals in your body. And this is just one example.
Right.
One example of a placebo. And the point of these examples, again, is just to articulate how powerful our mind is. Mm-hmm. It can do amazing things. And as they say, you hear this all the time, we use on average 10% of our brain.
Oh, yeah.
What if we used 30? What if we used 50? What if we used 100% of the capacity of our brain? If the things that we can do today with 10%, can you imagine?
Mm-mm. I can't. Honestly, I can't.
We can't imagine.
I can't. But it does. It. You are asking a really interesting question, which is one. Science doesn't really understand what the brain
that's right
says or what it does.
They still don't know.
They have no idea.
Yeah.
There's so much that we don't understand, and maybe there is like a power of healing within our own minds that exist that we can't quantify or qualify, because we've always seen it as being like a net negative, right? And not a gain.
Yes.
Oh, it's a failure of science.
Yes.
It's not a phenomenon that we need to kind of embrace and try to better understand, or at least create like an experiment, right? Like science, like you have to have a experiment.
Yes. Right.
But create some space within that method, the scientific method, where these phenomenons can exist and we can embrace them.
Yes. Yes, it's just fascinating.
It's so fascinating. Yeah, even like, I don't know. You said it like even 3% more that we could use.
Could you imagine? I mean, it's crazy when you start thinking about it like that.
So small.
So here's some things that researchers have found, and these are documented. These are in papers. I mean, these are legitimate like medical science papers. Placebos follow the same dose response curve as real medicines. So, for example, 2 pills are better than 1. A larger capsule is better than a smaller capsule. Again, this is the brain. Placebo injections are more effective than placebo pills.
Okay. One, what the fuck are they injecting these people with? Like a vitamin or something? Maybe?
No. With like
saline?
Saline.
So like they know it's not going to cause any kind of. There's no way that it could cause.
It's water.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Substances that actually treat one condition but are used up as a placebo to have greater placebo effect than sugar pills. So, example.
Yeah.
I give you a Tylenol. Say this is going to cure your skin rash.
Sure.
I give you a sugar pill and say this is going to cure your skin rash. The majority of the times, the Tylenol cured the rash more than the sugar pill.
The Tylenol cured the rash more than the sugar pill.
Right. So a placebo, they're both placebos, technically,
yes,
because they're not to cure the skin rash. But the one that was actually a medication to cure one thing, but used as a placebo in the experiment, was more effective than the placebo that was really nothing.
So that's fucking wild,
Weird.
dude. So you had no idea. It's not like you know.
The person taking it doesn't. They know they're in an experiment,
right? But they don't know they're being given Tylenol.
But they don't know what they're given.
Yeah, it's not like they're testing it beforehand,
right?
Oh my god, that's like one, that's fucking crazy. But two, what if there's like a greater knowing, and that's I don't know. I'm inserting shit.
No.
But what if there is like a greater knowing where we are like more, I don't know, universal. Like maybe there's like a universal mind or something. So
exactly,
we know innately that there is something more to this one pill, like collectively or whatever.
We're gonna get into telepathy and all this other stuff.
Okay,
that
sorry.
Connects people.
Yeah,
but that's a beautiful tie-in. Like, what if there is this connection?
Yeah, because how the fuck would you know? You wouldn't know. But guess who does know? The scientist who's giving you the thing. They know that there's something more to that pill. If you're somehow telepathically like communicating on some level that you don't really understand.
Who knows?
Oh my God. Okay.
Power of the brain.
Power of the brain. Brain equals
the greater the pain, the greater the placebo effect. It's as if the more relief we desire, the more relief we attain, which you kind of think about kind of makes some sense. Like if I'm in great pain and the placebo works, it's the ratio of effect is going to be greater because I have greater pain. So that kind of makes some sense.
That makes sense. I think that you're wanting to seek comfort more. So
yes,
like anything's
precisely.
going to happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to be sick for a placebo to work. Examples were placebo stimulants or tranquilizers or placebo alcohol can produce the same predictable effects.
I have actually heard about that, where people thought that they were getting drunk and they actually were not getting drunk. There was no alcohol at all involved, and like an entire part, like an entire group of people are acting like fucking, like they have been drinking so much. And in reality, there's not been anything. Or even like, yeah, that's bizarro.
Your brain did that.
Your brain created.
Your brain did that to your body. You like physically altered your body.
I mean, it gets into that, like, you know, the way that you talk to yourself, like has a great impact on the way that, you know, the world sees you.
Takes right back to the quote, is the way you look at things.
Yeah.
If you change the way you look at things, then things change.
Yes.
Goes as simple as, if I am just a cranky butt all day, then things are going to suck.
Right. Nobody's going to want to be around you. They're going to treat you like shit. Yeah, totally.
If I make myself have a good attitude, things are going to generally work out better. I'm going to make those things change the things because I've changed how I looked at things. It's all weird, connected.
It's all fucking bizarre AF.
Yes. So as in all brain actions, the placebo effect is the product of chemical changes. Your brain is doing stuff. Mm-hmm. And numerous studies have supported the conclusion that endorphins in the brain produce the placebo effect. Excuse me. And in patients with chronic pain, for example, placebo responders were found to have higher concentrations of endorphins in their spinal fluid than placebo of non-responders. So people that didn't respond to it. What?
In your spinal fluid?
What?
So they're testing. It's not just like, yeah, this person just feels better. It's like, these are like legitimate fucking testing.
Yeah.
Where they're looking and seeing, oh God, like this person, their spinal fluid, we're tapping their spine, we're getting the fluid out. And it's showing, it's different than this person.
They got all these endorphins.
That's fucking wild, dude. Just like the thought.
Power of the brain.
The power of the brain, the power of thought, too.
Power of thought. That's what placebo boils down to.
Right.
Is thought.
Yeah.
This placebo is going to cure my skin rash.
Ugh.
And look, it's gone.
I mean, yeah, if you keep on saying, oh, I'm sick. Oh, I feel this.
That is another one. People that have, what is that when you're always, what's that when you're always sick?
Hypochondriac? Or you're like, you're afraid of being sick, right?
Yes.
Or you're fearing it.
Boop, 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 boop. That's your brain.
You're creating that.
You're creating it.
Yeah, you're creating your reality.
And it's easy for us to say.
Sure.
I'm not telling anyone that they shouldn't feel that way. I'm just simply saying that that's how powerful the brain is.
Well, you and I were both talking about our day before, or our week, and we're both like, God, our weeks fucking sucked.
And for me, it propagated. Like
Did it?
Because remember I said I had that one issue.
Oh,
and then 2 days later I had another one, and it just kept going.
And it's like so out of character, out of context. Like you're not someone who has these issues. And then it just kept happening. Getting like, it's same thing with like acting. Like if I'm acting like on stage, that's a huge, yeah, you fuck up. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to fuck up more. Oh, I'm going to go out there. Oh, fuck it. It's just like, it's going to be a fucking shitty show. And you know what I found though? Maybe it's the reverse, some kind of placebo effect. Like those shows where like nothing goes right is the most fun for me. I always think it's like
keeps you on your toes.
Keeps you on your toes, but also like it keeps you on your toes. You're not doing the same things, and
well, that's just it too because it's the unexpected, right?
Oh yeah, so it ties into this phenomenon where it's like the unexpected's happening, and you're kind of, I guess you're embracing that. So I guess you could be like, well, I'm just going to throw my hands up and whatever. Or you could be like, I'm going to fucking ride this ride. Let's see what happens.
Exactly.
which is probably why it's the best.
Changes everything.
That's so crazy. It seems like, okay, so you're talking about hypochondriacs. Do you think that like that has something to do with personality? Like some of these things are more personality based. So like I tend to be more optimistic. I see the glass is half full or a half a glass, whatever. Realistic, optimistic. I'm not pessimistic. I don't automatically think everything's out to get me.
Yeah.
Does that have a huge effect on it, would you think?
I think it does.
Yeah, I think so too.
Again, I think it boils back down to your perspective, how you look at things. People that are always very negative, those pessimists and those hypochondriacs, and like it's like non-going.
Yes, they're always a victim.
Always a victim. People that we always say love drama, like oh God, just like a drama mama. Like you live in drama, and when you don't have drama, they feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, because then they're faced with themselves. They have to look at themselves.
So it's all about your perspective and how you're looking at things and how you want to look at things, and it changes everything. And again, I know it's easy to say, and that's not why we're here today. We're here just to again emphasize brain is fucking amazing.
brain equal power.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's amazing to hear like real, about real like substantial studies that, you have evidence where they're like, we're throwing our hands up. We don't really know what's happening, but something's happening.
Right.
And the brain that's all we can say is like the brain's somehow controlling some of this or all of this or whatever the case is. Like,
yes.
there's something going on.
There's something there.
Yeah.
Measurable.
Yeah, it's measurable. We're tapping people's spinal cords and we're finding this shit's happening. Like, what the fuck?
So your mind can really control your body beyond what we can do just on a constant normal basis. I've already given us examples of this. Let's take it a little step further.
Okay.
What about telekinesis? What about telepathy? So let's talk about telepathy for a second.
Yeah, I was going to be like, what the fuck is the difference? I thought they were the same thing.
So one is transmitting thought between one person and the other. The other was literally moving things, controlling physical objects. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between the two.
Ah, okay.
All stemming from
the brain,
the mind.
Okay.
So in telepathy, again, is the transmission of information from one person's mind to another without using any known human sensory channels or physical touch or interaction. Okay, like
yes.
This is not telepathy.
Right.
This is
and he's moving sign language. He's doing his hands like he's doing letters for sign language.
A, B, C, D. There you go.
I think this is D.
Oh, D.
With one, yep, like that.
E.
I think
F, G, H, I, J,
H, I, J, K.
L, M.
This is really interesting.
Sorry. Okay.
Tangent.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's no movements or anything. It's just
that's what telepathy is. It has to be
okay.
like we're just sitting here looking at each other and like what I'm about to say right now.
Yes.
What name am I thinking?
Sam.
No. Okay. So the first
no, not telekinetic.
The term was first coined in 1882 by a classical scholar by the name of Frederick Myers. He's a founder of the Society of Wait, it's not physical research. It's psychological. Psychical.
Psychical.
Thank you.
Psychical.
Society of Psychical Research.
You got that all yourself. Psychical research.
Thank you. Yes, and it has remained more popular than what they called it initially, which was thought transference, which I like thought transference.
I think so too. I like that better. It makes more sense to me.
Yes, exactly. So thought reading. So in the late 19th century, magicians and mentalists would perform this thought reading demonstrations, and they would do things like perform, like by correctly identifying, like a spot on a table. Like someone would pick a spot on a table, and the magician or the mentalist would have picked that spot or find a hidden object or etc. Mm-hmm. During the experiment, most would require physical contact with the subject. So the mentalist or the magician, for example, let's do a overhead.
Overhead, yeah.
Yeah. So we do something like this.
Grasping the person's hand.
And then, saying, communicate and tell, show me where that person picked on the table or whatever.
Yeah.
So they would all require some sort of physical touch like that. Clearly the person who they were touching was in on it. They knew where it was. They would use what they called, and I was trying to find this word because I'd found it one time, I couldn't find it, but basically boils down to muscle movement. So like somehow like you would touch and somehow you would like feel like this.
Yes.
And we would communicate by you could feeling
where it was.
Somehow we had it. Oh. So you could feel that kind of muscle movement.
Yes.
And that's how they would communicate.
So you'd hold on to I could totally see that. You could hold on to someone's wrist, and based on which like finger they moved,
you could feel that muscle.
You could feel the muscle moving.
Because they wouldn't, this would be obvious, right? If I was like doing this, but like if I'm just kind of like, if you hold my wrist, and if I just kind of went like,
I could tell which side of your wrist.
I'm not really moving anything, but you can.
But they're holding onto your hand, right?
Like
maybe they're
movement.
doing this.
Yeah.
And like, yes.
Yeah. So that's how they would do that, right?
They're so slick.
Which then makes people not believe in real stuff.
Right.
But
well, there's money to be made, and these motherfuckers are gonna make it.
That's right. That's right. So there was another famous reader. His name was Stuart Cumberland, and he was famous for performing blindfolded treats, like identifying a hidden object in a room that a person had picked out, or asking someone to imagine a murder scene and then attempted to read the subject's thoughts and identify the victim and reenact this crime. And he would do all these kind of like really dramatic things. He literally claimed that he possessed no genuine psychic ability, and that his thought reading performances could only be demonstrated
Okay.
by holding the hand of the subject he came into dispute, with this whole thing. And again, it was this whole muscle movement.
But
thing.
he knew the people ahead of time. They had already decided on something.
Exactly.
Right? So they were plants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they were all plants. Cumberland himself, he argued that telepathy and communication with the dead were absolutely impossible, and the mind of man cannot read through telepathy. And so, there was this whole debate where they were trying to prove that telepathy could exist, but then you had people like him that were just effing it all up,
right,
and making people doubt it.
Yeah. That's the thing that sucks about it is like, you'll sit there and you'll have someone who is like, hey, look, this is legit. Mm-hmm. Like, we've talked about like, people in positions of power who are saying like, hey, these things exist. And it's like, oh, here's a red herring. Like, this is some weird shit that I'm saying, like DIA or whatever, right? Like DIA, like, hey, there's some weird shit for sure underneath DIA. But you know what else is very strange? Fucking, just like these underground bunkers, but oh yeah, we have like these aliens that suck like children's blood.
Yes, they eat their glands.
Yeah, they eat children's glands, and that's why you shouldn't go to DIA, Denver International Airport. Don't it really does distract or detract from the real issues. That's or the potential problems.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
it's interesting.
Right. So what about real telepathy? Like when we're talking about the no contact telepathy, like the real telepathy. Okay, so like I don't want to alarm anybody listening,
oh, no.
but the act of transferring thoughts into someone else's head is literally real, as in published in academic papers real. Like they've literally, it's real.
Like they actually know
they've proved
this.
it. They've documented it is real. Now, here's the caveat.
Okay.
Here's a little caveat. Oh, wait. Sorry, let me back up. So part of the documentation was that people have not only communicated, like, I'm thinking of a phrase, and you go, phrases, blah, blah, blah. They've also through telepathic ways controlled rats.
Oh.
Like, move left, move right, go down that road, left, no, turn. Documented. Okay, now here's the caveat. Technology was involved in that they had to put, they're called transcranial magnetic stimulation.
In the rats?
So the human would have this some kind of device on their head.
Yeah.
The rats would have this little implant on their brain, and they would use this wand to kind of connect the two. And so they were literally like
physically connecting them.
Physically connecting through technology, but through the mind and thought process, doing things or transmitting information.
Oh my God.
So yes, not telepathy, like we're thinking like I'm going to sit here and you're going to think of the color.
Yeah.
Not like that, but
what color am I thinking?
Blue.
No.
Okay, so neither one of us are at it.
Yeah.
So, but they were doing it. So, okay, maybe it's telepathy 101. Maybe it's the first step into using more than 10% of our freaking brain. Because that's all we're using, right?
Maybe we need a helping hand.
We need some help
way, yeah. Until
we can get to the 30 or 50 or 70.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? So, but it just proves that thoughts are tangible.
Yeah. They are tangible. They're not just...
You mean like grab it, but it's a thing.
Mm-hmm. That exists, that can change.
Clearly they're capturing it and controlling it if they can put it through technology. If I can control a rat through my thoughts, clearly that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Also, haven't you ever had a sense of what someone's thinking and have been right?
Yes.
So, and sure, subtle things could have contributed, like facial expressions or maybe the context of the moment or, something like that. But nonetheless, you've had this mind meld. So, there must be something there.
Yeah. I think that the thing that makes me think about it's something that's everyone has had, like some kind of you can walk into a room. Like I've walked into a room. I wasn't in the room before. I didn't know who was in the room, but you walk into a room and you're like, whew, it feels like there's like some anger in here. Like, I don't like this feeling. Or you get like the heebie-jeebies or something where you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And then you find out later, like, yeah, someone had like some issues in there or whatever. There's where you're at was, I don't know, there was a murder or something like that. Like there's like an imprint or there's like some kind of knowing that your mind has.
Something. You're picking up on something.
You're picking up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something legitimate.
Something. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And again, this might just be the initial, this might just be like just the tip of that little iceberg of what we're doing. But have we been able to use 100% of our brain? Maybe like we could legitimately do this stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of makes you wonder if the scientific community, they're already kind of studying this, then they know that there's something deeper
there.
And I've heard of people, I'm not going to bring them up right now because I'm sure we're going to talk about them on future episodes. But, you hear about these people who they can't really make sense of it. Like this person they just know some shit.
Yes.
We're not telling them. They just know it. And we have no idea how the fuck, like how is it this person has that and other people don't. Maybe they're using more of their brain. Maybe
that's it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And maybe that's how some people can do things, maybe psychics, I don't know, but maybe they've got some connection with their brain that's way beyond what normal people have.
Yeah, because you even hear about, like, I don't know, we'll go into aliens. Like, you hear about, like, telepathy and stuff with aliens, and it's like, oh, they never...
That's
like,
how they communicate.
Like, they communicate without talking. You just kind of know that what they're saying.
Yes.
But even in dreams and stuff... I don't know if you dream often. So
I do.
Yeah. In dreams, like you'll have, like for me, I dream often and I'll have like an idea of something that's happening or like I'll know how other people are feeling in the dream and there are no words that need to be said. And that's just in your dream state. Sometimes you're hanging out with your friend or whatever. You might know them really well, but like you can just kind of feel something in the room. Like, I feel like this person doesn't like me or like, fucking Karen or whatever, like in fucking accounting hates me or HR, like they're all Karens.
Fucking Karen.
Yeah. We still get that. Like,
yeah. And like I said, I know, some people will say, well, the context of the room or whatever. And yeah, okay, sure. Like there's subtle clues that I'm sure we can pick up on that, give us an idea of what that person's thinking. Oh, we happen to be right. But it's energy.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is that those thoughts are energy. And if you can, we've already proven that you can transmit them. I mean, we need some help with technology, but you can transmit them and you can receive them.
Yes.
So if you can do that better than people that are using very little of their brain, then this seems very plausible.
Oh, for sure.
To me. Yeah. So I used to actually practice telepathy when I was a kid with my dad.
Oh my God, your parents.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had cards, and I'm sure you've seen them before, but they're like white cards, and they'll have like maybe a black triangle or a square, a circle, wavy lines, a plus sign, right? They had these cards, and we would, he would hold up a card to himself, and he would look at it, and then I would try to read his mind and say, this is the card you're thinking of, right? And even the odds say 50% plus or minus is,
right.
If you just kept doing that over and over and over,
all the cards.
Yeah. You're gonna, there's gonna be some percentage that you're gonna get right just by guessing. Yeah. Right. I distinctly remember one time I was with my dad, and we had been doing this for a long time.
The same.
We had been doing these flashcards for quite some time. Yeah. I remember specifically one time, and I getting 7 in a row.
Oh, wow.
And with like 8, you have 8 different, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I think there's like there are 8 options in these flashcards. Getting 7 in a row with 8 options, that's more than just guessing.
It's not just
something.
There's the fact that you got maybe 2. Okay.
Yeah, even
3,
4.
4, yeah. Then 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
So would your dad be holding them, and
yes.
he'd like
he would hold it in front. So like if we were like you, if you were me, I was my dad, he would take the card and he would hold it up like this, and he would look at it and he would just stare at it, and then I would call out the card.
So he would be staring at the card while you were almost kind of like trying to see his thoughts.
Yes. That's telepathy.
Okay, so honestly, you know how I thought it would work?
Huh.
I thought that you would try, let's say I have a picture of a guitar.
Yes.
Up. I'd be like looking at the guitar, and then I'd just be like staring at you like guitar,
yes.
guitar.
Yes, same thing.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay. Does it make a difference
if you're looking at the card or
the person?
I don't know.
Like in transmitting
in
that?
my mind, so when I'm thinking, if I think through this,
yeah,
I don't have to look at you to transmit an electrical transmission. Like it's kind of think of it like a cell phone. Like I don't have to point my cell phone at you or the tower. It's like it just kind of it's this transmission.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So whether I look at you or that, that's not my eyeballs aren't the direction of the thought.
No, you don't have to direct it. But what if we're so bad at it that maybe
we are?
Right. Right. Because we need to have.
That's just it.
So even though we're putting out there, I almost wonder, like when you're thinking about things like flashcards, like that's one thing. But when you go into a room that's had like a lot of, maybe somber, like I was saying, like emotions and stuff.
Yes.
There's like an echo or something of it.
We just talked about that in our previous episode of the airplane, where those things would attach to those physical objects, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the exact same thing that you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it is.
Those, call them whatever you want, negative thoughts or energies or even positive thoughts.
Extreme feelings.
Yes, exactly.
That's weird.
Echoing in the air or bouncing in the room or connecting to the TV or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's the exact same thing.
But of course it would have an easier way of moving things because if you're sitting there and like if you have an extreme situation, like you're about to die. Of course that things are going to be imprinted or echoes of that. But if you're just trying to guess a guitar off of a flashcard, that's going to be really, really hard because there's no
the intensity.
extreme.
Yes.
Yeah, the intensity is just not there.
Right. Unless you could use 50% of your, or whatever I'm saying. Yeah, whatever the number is. I don't know what it is. But
Totally.
right, like you're better at it. At least that's what you can do.
Yep.
Otherwise, when it's hard, like you said, it's just not, we're just not built
For it
initially.
Yeah.
Yes. Or maybe
Or we've
we were
forgotten
built
it.
for it and we've forgotten it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or we've been blinded to it.
Right. Or we've been blinded to it.
It's a fucking conspiracy. People are trying to keep us away from being connected.
Yes.
I could see that.
I can see that
Jeff
too.
Bezos, he has, I mean, come on. How much money have you spent at Amazon this year? Too much.
Damn much.
Yeah. We all hate him,
In
but
fact,
we're
Roy
all...
and I just had a conversation about that this morning.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I know. I was talking to Dave about it. I'm like, I should really need to stop. I need to stop. But it's so easy.
So easy. Okay, so forget about this whole cool mystery sci-fi aspect of us for a second of telepathy.
Okay.
Think about the actual medical benefits of being able to send things to the brain that would help you heal. I mean, we just talked about placebos.
Yeah, that's a great application.
Right? Put the placebo thing in conjunction with the telepathy thing. We're talking about cures without medicine or side effects.
Yes, cures without medicine, side effects, or let me get on my conspiratorial soapbox. Lots of money being spent. People aren't spending the insane amounts of money.
Even more reason to
block
knock the man down.
Yeah. These huge corporations don't want us to be able to just cure ourselves.
I could send Alicia a thought to cure her. Oh, hail to the no.
Oh yeah. You want this diabetes cure? No, we'd rather just charge you $1,000 for every
for a pill.
Yeah. Or for insulin, which is the fucking case.
Right.
I mean, it would be in their best interest to not do it.
Of course.
Oh God, that would be an amazing application.
Yes.
Okay, let's try to make that happen.
Okay.
Can you talk to these people?
Well, as soon as you can guess the color I'm thinking, then we'll be on the right path.
Are you thinking of a color right now?
Yes.
Green.
No.
God damn it.
Okay, what about telekinesis?
Okay, so you were saying telepathy is thoughts. Telekinesis, kinetic, that has to do with your body or movement.
Movement.
So moving objects.
Yes.
So you can move
with your thoughts.
Moving anything. Moving people?
Anything.
Anything
in the physical realm.
The applications could be great and bad.
Both.
Yeah.
Both. So, but this is another thing I've done.
Okay. Oh my God, Kevin, I love it.
So I can't honestly remember, and actually I'm going to go see my dad here in a week, so I'm going to ask him if he remembers, and I can't remember where we were, but he had taken me somewhere where, and I don't want to say it was like to a psychic, but it was somewhere where this was like people, accepted it. Because I specifically remember sitting on a couch, and there was this wooden circular, I'm going to guess it was maybe like 7 or 8 inches around. As I said, like a thick, think of a cutting board.
Okay.
And it was round. And on top of it was a glass dome. So you imagine if you were like, when you serve food and then they put those domes on it with the smoke and, they serve food.
or like a cocktail, smoked like whiskey cocktail.
Exactly. So imagine that like about 8 inches around and the dome, like a foot tall. Okay. And this glass dome is sitting on top of there. Well, hanging from the center of the dome was this really thin, like string, and then a crystal that was like an inch long.
Okay.
Just like a normal, like, metaphysical crystal.
Yeah.
Right? And it was hanging, and so it was just floating inside this glass dome. And the idea was that you would focus on that crystal and move it.
You would move
That was
it.
the purpose of this contraption, for lack of a better term, was that the idea was that you focus on this crystal and you make the crystal move. Now, the purpose of the glass was to ensure that there was no external forces moving it, right? There's no wind or fan or anything.
Okay.
So this glass would keep it from, it was literally dead still.
Right.
So you couldn't touch it to move it. You couldn't use fans or anything like that. And
Was
so,
anyone near the table?
Yeah, everyone. This was like
Everyone's
I don't keep saying waiting room because but that's kind of, it was like a living room or something. I can't remember, but I remember seeing it repeatedly.
Yeah.
Okay. And every time we would go, I would do it. I would focus on, I would I want to move this thing. I want to move this thing. I want to move this thing. And I did it every single time. I would focus on it, focus on it, focus on it.
Now, you moved it every single time?
No.
Okay.
No.
You would just go and try.
I would attempt to do this every time we say
Okay, gotcha.
One time, it actually moved, and it would move. It's very gradual, and then eventually, I just kept staring at it, and then it started making this little back and forth, and then it started doing this kind of circular, very small, but it was doing this kind of maybe imagine a half an inch. It was just kind of doing this little loopity loop thing.
Okay.
I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want it to stop. I wasn't sure if it was real, if I was imagining it.
Yeah.
And so I just kept staring at it and staring at it. And then by the time I actually realized what was happening, my dad was watching it, and he had got other people to come look and go, they're all staring at it, and they're all being perfectly quiet because they're like, oh my God, it's actually moving.
So it doesn't happen very often.
Right. Well, right. Have you ever heard of anybody moving shit with their mind?
No. I have a couple questions after the story, but what the fuck? So how long, if you were to guess, how long do you think you were moving it for?
A minute or two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it started very well. Then once it stopped, then it would, like anything in perpetual motion, it would eventually slow and then stop. Yeah. So I hate to say it like this, but how long was I physically moving it? It could have been like a second or 5 seconds to get it going, and then it was, on its own.
Yeah.
I had never done it before or after.
Okay.
Nothing ever like that again in my life.
How old were you?
Again, this was late single digits.
Oh, okay. So 9.
Yeah. And remember when we were talking about spirit writing in another one? It was all of this happened to me within a couple of years.
Okay.
All in this 8, 9 time frame.
Did your parents still were they still into that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
But you just didn't participate.
I did, and it's not like they were so super active in it. It was just kind of like a pastime.
Yeah, something that you do. You're not playing shoots or ladders, you're fucking.
Yeah, we're moving crystal objects in a glass container.
That's very Colorado.
And then I was like, oh, maybe thinking about it, maybe Dad was taking me to a Wiccan cult meeting in the catacombs of Denver. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what the fuck
where was your
is
father
this?
taking you?
Yeah, you're like, I don't know exactly where it was, but it was kind of like a living room. I'm like, fucking what kind of cult is it? There are quite a few cults here in Colorado. So what the fuck was this?
I don't think it was like that. I think he was going to like a medium or something like that.
But there's a lot of people there. They're like this is a.
Yeah, there were I don't want to say a lot.
It's like a waiting room.
Yeah, so there's 6, 7 people.
Maybe it's maybe it is a psychic.
Yeah, I think maybe it was a psychic or a medium.
Oh my God.
Because I know he had gone to them before, but.
What if he was in a cult?
Oh my God,
for a brief
taking me to a
time?
Wiccan cult.
That would be cool. We'd have to do a follow-up.
I don't remember robes.
I don't remember robes. Yeah, robes. But I can't remember what happened for 30 minutes. And then I saw a dead chicken on the fucking ground. You're like, maybe I was in, I don't know, I had the spirit of fucking Beelzebub.
Yeah, oh my God.
That'd be so scary.
So that's telekinesis. And, part of me goes... I don't believe you. Like, I don't believe myself. You know what I mean? But I remember it. I remember this happening very clearly. Just like I remember spirit riding with my mom. Like, I remember that happening. And so that's why I really believe that, again, that your mind can do way more than we even are capable of or know that we can.
And sometimes I feel like, which is why it's kind of interesting that you had these experiences as a child. Like, as a child, you don't really know what your bounds are, what your boundaries are.
Isn't that right? Isn't that? I think that is exactly it. You don't know your restrictions.
Yeah, and you're not. It's not really like. Yes. Put like embedded into you at that point in time. You're kind of like, oh yeah, fucking Superman's totally a real person, and like I thought I could be Asian if I wanted to hard enough. I really thought Asian women were so beautiful, and I wanted to be Asian, and I thought that was an actual possibility. There is
no one told you that you couldn't.
No one told me I couldn't. But like, there's very much nothing that looks like I'm fucking Asian. My hair's curly as fuck. Like, there's no way. But as a child, yeah, you think that the world is open and filled with possibilities. So maybe these like that percentage of your brain that, you know, kind of can control that.
Maybe it was working.
It's working. It's not inhibited the way that it is today.
Right.
Because you're open to so much
That's
more.
what I think. If you want to ask my opinion, I think it's that.
And you had tried, so like when you were telling me about this, like because it sounds like it's a pendulum. So like a string.
Just on a string.
What color was the crystal?
Like that really light white purpley.
So it's like an amethyst, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like vibrant, but it was like, it seemed like kind of that bluish purpley white kind of color.
So it's hanging from a string.
Yes.
There's no one near it.
No.
There's no magnets moving it, which is like, you know, that's probably how it could happen. It's just you, and you've always been trying to fucking.
Every time we went. And I don't remember how many times every time is. I just know there was
more than
several.
once.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I believe in that. Mm-hmm. Have you heard, like, people will talk about like moving, right now we have like a little candle or like a flame that's lit. So you can move the flame. Like they say, hey, if you want to start practicing these things, you can look at a flame in a room that doesn't have, like, you have to control the.
And that's why I loved the fact that this happened the way that it did, because there was literally zero air.
Yeah.
To push anything. Like with a candle, like who knows where the little breeze could come from, right? So you don't know, was that me?
Yeah, was that me or was that actually?
Yeah. But yes, I had done that for the longest time, like, and that wasn't the only time that I tried to do that stuff. Like I would be at home and I would, focus on the pencil on the table or, whatever. Like I remember trying to do that.
Multiple times.
Like a lot.
And it just
and then finally one time it happens.
So it's almost like, I wonder if it's like a muscle that you can flex, right? Mm-hmm. So like, pumping iron, love pumping iron personally. But like, you go to the gym and like when you first go, you're like, God, these 5 pounds doing bicep curls, this is really fucking hard. But then the more and more you go, you're growing your muscle and you can pick up more. What if that's really what this is? Like if you continue to try to practice.
Well, and that's the other thing too, that I think I fully agree with you that that's exactly what it takes. The problem is I don't know how to practice. Like I don't know. Like when I'm thinking about moving the pencil, should I be thinking about moving the pencil? Like how should I be training? It's like telling someone, go train to wait to, I don't know, run a marathon. You're like, well, I'm not sure what to do. Or train to be a weightlifter. Well, what should I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, where do I start? Like, how do I train? And so that's the problem that I face. I'm like, okay, well, I want to levitate. I want to make my body levitate. Yeah. Well, how do I practice that? Like, do I envision it? What do I do?
I think that like we kind of, well, not that we're like, but we are. We're very smart. And but what if part of that is in taking some of those prescriptions that you have, or like the ideas that you have about what you're capable of and what you're not capable of, and just kind of trying to go through it with childlike wonder, where you're like, yeah, of course I can do this. So how do you do that? I don't know. Meditation's probably a good spot to start.
I agree. I would fully agree with the whole meditation. We've
quieting your
convinced
brain?
ourselves, and we've been educated, and educated is the wrong word. We've been conditioned
Yeah.
in so many ways to think so many things, and in certain ways that we're not even conscious of.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I think meditation, clearing your mind, is definitely the start.
I totally agree with that. I think, would you want to do that again? Is that something that you'd?
Yes, I would love to do. I haven't thought about it in a
Until the
very long
podcast.
time until I started writing this episode. It's the first time I'd thought about it in eons.
Just, I mean, the ramifications of being able to be open in those capacities, like, it doesn't seem like it would be a bad thing. It seems like it could be a really, really good thing. Like, you could be like Magneto, like from X-Men, you know, he like controls metal and shit. Like,
Yeah.
he can do anything.
Well, and like you said before, anything of value can be used in a bad way.
Yes.
Right? Any power, regardless of what it is,
Can be corrupted.
can be good or bad.
And you know what kind of, you know, and we did talk about this in the gateway process, but the thing that scares me is when you have these people who are trying to hold on to power, or who are trying to control other folks. Like, that's a scary thought. Like, to be able to imprint ideas onto people who are unwilling subjects, like,
That's bad.
that's really scary.
That is bad. And I've been doing a lot of research on like witchcraft and Wicca and all that stuff. And that is one of the first and foremost rules, is that it's about intent and not doing anything without anyone's acceptance.
Right.
Full acceptance. That is like rule number one.
Like, even talking about, I mean, let's just get, okay, whatever, like, it's morally wrong to do something like that, right? But just getting away from the moralities behind that. Think about how much harder it is to talking to someone, using your words and saying, Kevin, I know your favorite color is, you know, purple. Your favorite color. Shut up.
It is.
Were you thinking about purple?
It was. You did it.
Oh my God. Oh, finally. It just took the end of the fucking episode. So, oh my God. Okay. So, that's fucking cool. So I didn't know that. Okay. Maybe I did. Maybe I did, and I just don't remember it. Anyway, so your favorite color is purple. And I tell you, Kevin, your favorite color really needs to be red. You're already against the idea of it being red in general. Like, for me to convince you with words is going to be hard enough, let alone, one, having to do it telepathically. Two, having to do it with someone who's uninterested.
Yes.
Like, that is, I just feel like you would be going, it's such an uphill battle that requires so much energy. And even like from this like Wiccan perspective, it's like, not only is it morally wrong, but it's probably just like so fucking exhausting. It's not even worth your time to do that.
Right.
I don't know.
Unless you were some very powerful witch, and it didn't matter. You could just do it.
You could be Alphaba.
Oh yeah. Who's that?
Alphaba?
Oh
Come
my God. Wait, that's not the Green Witch, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just want to make sure.
From Wicked.
Yes. Okay. I love that music.
You just, we just like pulled
some points off of my card.
Yeah, you definitely did. We're going to have to get those back up. Positive thought. I have positive thought about it.
Thank you. I don't want to be kicked out.
No, you can't.
Okay, well that's what I had. So I again I wrapped up with just think about how powerful our brains are.
Yeah.
Some good advice, I think, is what you just said, is take a minute out of every day, meditate and clear your mind, and just take advantage of that power that's between your ears, because I think we could do some really cool stuff from it if we even just use a little bit more of our brain.
Start flexing that muscle.
Flex it.
Yeah. I would love to see like maybe a little recap from you. Like, you maybe having meditated, trying to
See if I can do it again.
Yeah, repeat that.
God, that'd be fun.
It would be really cool. I'm sure we could create it. I'm sure you have like a globe or something that we can stick that.
I'm sure.
I have crystals.
Well, maybe that'll be a new
fixture on our table. Yes.
Maybe we can start our episodes by focusing on the crystal.
Every episode we spend just a little bit of time, whomever's not hosting it, to try to move it. But we just can't move anything else on the surface of the table because I've like done it a couple of times. Yeah.
You've tried to do like moving pencils and stuff?
Oh yeah, of course I've tried doing that. I was saying I just hit the fucking table with my legs because I move around too much. Can't sit still. This is a great episode.
Good, thanks so much.
It's very encouraging, you know?
Good.
And with like the new year, it's like, I just feel like, you know, there's a lot of possibility and having, you know, positive thought. And this is a great episode to kind of go along with that.
Perfect.
So
Good.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining me as always.
Of course.
Okay. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.